Okay, so here we are live. Thank you, thank you. Welcome everyone to our Unlimited Network Mastermind that we do here every Saturday, one after the other. And I tell you, big difference when we are here every Saturday. Like to really acknowledge, I would say, the quality of perseverance, but I can sense the change here, and many of us, we are really enjoying this. So welcome again. And today is October 10, 2015. And here we are. This encounter that we do every week is an offering and is really dedicated to every conscious entrepreneur, let's call it. The ones that we know that we create our world from the inside out, and that we are committed to master the laws of the universe and to really be in alignment and to stop the world of struggle and effort and making it, with the sweat of our forehead. We say in Spanish, I don't know in English, but I mean to really committed, to switch the frequency of this world and to make it, in this easy and harmonious and flowing and loving and engaging with life from fulfillment instead of from scarcity and fear. Do it from love and abundance. And we are studying the book of the money and the law of attraction with Abraham Hicks. And I just would say I'm in love to the book, and I can see that it's easy to say to vibrate in the frequency that we need to vibrate, but I love this book because really give us the dialogue that we have to have inside and the switch, how we can change when we are in one frequency or another. And I consider the book very practical, so I feel very, very grateful to be all of us here together and to have this masters, Abraham Hicks, teaching us, how to engage with money from a place of fulfillment, from a, conscious place. So, with no more delay, because I think we can talk a lot after, and I just suggest for you to take pen and paper to write down what really resonate with you, or some questions that can come on the way of how to apply this, because that's our intention, to make our lives easier. And we are going to continue with the book on page 68. The ones that you have the book, you can open the book on that page. And I'm going to welcome Dr. Fran. Dr. Fran, just is the one that really inspires us here and reads with this emphasis to help us to integrate all of this. So thank you, Dr. Fran, for being here with us, and here we go.
Well, it's a pleasure, and good morning, everyone. What a delight to be with the Mastermind yet again. And I'm personally experiencing such abundance and joy in my life as a result of our Mastermind. And Arnie and Monica, I believe you began this process for us 18 months ago. So, congratulations on doing that, and thank you for doing that, because it certainly is being a real source of joy and abundance in many people's lives. So, great book, Money and the Law of Attraction, and so we are moving through attracting money and manifesting abundance. Who on the line here today is got that as an idea that they'd like to have become a reality on a regular basis in their life? So if that is part of your desires, you're in the right place. Needing money won't attract it. We're on page 68. Jerry Hicks says, Abraham, one of my greatest disappointments as I have worked to help people find greater financial success is that those who needed the money the most had the least success with what I was teaching them, while those who needed it the least had the most success with it. That always seemed backward to me. It seemed like those who needed it more would try harder, and eventually they would succeed. Abraham responds, anyone who is in a place of lack, no matter how much action they offer, attracts more lack. In other words, the powerful feeling outweighs any action that they offer. Any action that is offered from a place of lack is always counterproductive. Those who were not feeling need were not in a place of lack, and so their action was productive. Your experience was in absolute harmony with the law of attraction, as is every experience. There is not a shred of evidence anywhere in the universe that is contrary of this that we're speaking of. Well, Jerry says, well, also what I noticed was that by and large, those who didn't achieve much success or weren't very interested in even hearing about achieving success were people who had been taught that to want money was evil or immoral, and that the best thing for them to do was to remain as they were, even though they were unfulfilled. Abraham responds, the reason that many reach a place where they say they do not have a desire is because they have wanted and wanted and wanted, but because they have not understood that every subject is two subjects, they have given more of their attention to the lack of what they wanted than to what they wanted. And so they continue to attract the lack of what they want. And then, eventually, they were just worn down by it. As a person begins to associate wanting with not having, so much so that to want is an unpleasant experience, then he or she is saying, I no longer want because every time I want something, I get myself in this place of discomfort, and it is easier for me not to want in the first place. I've actually run that exact sentence on myself many times in the past. It shocks me. But they always say we grow too soon old and too late smart. So even though this was around, I wasn't smart enough to find it 30 years ago. So what if a poor one doesn't feel poor? Jerry, if others who are noticing you and comparing you to themselves come to the conclusion that you are poor, but you don't feel poor, then you wouldn't be in a state of lack, and so you would be able to move quickly towards more abundance in that case, correct? Abraham responds, that is correct. Others' assessments of you has no bearing on your point of attraction unless you are bothered by their assessment. Comparing your experience to the experiences of others can amplify a feeling of lack within you if you come to the conclusion that they have succeeded more greatly than you have. But you then activate within yourself a feeling of being less than. Also, noticing a lack of prosperity in the experience of others does not put you in a place of attracting greater prosperity for yourself, because you will be getting what you are thinking about. What you draw to you or keep from you has nothing to do with what anyone else is doing. An improved feeling of prosperity, even if your current reality does not justify that feeling, will always bring more prosperity to you. Paying attention to the way you feel about money is a much more productive activity than noticing how others are doing. Allowing more money to flow into your experience requires far less than most people understand. All that is required is that you achieve a vibrational balance in your own thoughts. If you want more money but doubt you can achieve it, you are not in balance. If you want more money but you believe there is something wrong in having money, you are not in balance. If you want more money and you are angry at those who have more money, you are not in balance. When you are feeling these emotions of inadequacy, insecurity, jealousy, injustice, anger, and so on, your emotional guidance system is letting you know that you are out of alignment with your own desire. Most people who make no effort in coming into personal alignment with the subject of money. Instead, they spend years, even lifetimes, pointing out perceived injustices, attempting to define the rightness or wrongness of the subject, and even trying to put laws in place to orchestrate the flow of money in the civilization, when a rather small effort in comparison with the impossible attempt at controlling those outside circumstances would yield them an enormous return. Nothing is more important than that you feel good. For when you feel good, you are in harmony with your greater intent. Many believe that hard work and struggle are not only a requirement to achieve success, but that working hard and struggling long is a more honorable way of life. Those hard times of struggle certainly do help you in the defining of what you desire, but until you release the feeling of struggle, what you desire cannot come into your experience. Often people feel as if they need to prove their worthiness, and that once that is accomplished, then and only then will rewards be given. But we want you to know that you are already worthy, and that proving yourselves worthy is not only possible, but necessary, but unnecessary. What is I'm sorry, let me read that again. Proving yourself worthy is not only not possible, but unnecessary. What is necessary for you to receive the rewards or benefits that you seek is alignment with the essence of those benefits. You have to first bring yourself into vibrational alignment with the experiences you wish to live. We recognize that words do not teach, and that our knowledge regarding the laws of the universe and your value do not necessarily mean that now that you have read our words, you now know your value. However, as you consider the premises that we are laying out here for you, and as you begin the application of the processes that we are suggesting here, it is our knowing that the universe's response to your improved vibration will give you the evidence of the existence of these laws. It will not be long, and it will not require much deliberate application of what you are reading here before you will be convinced of your own value and of your ability to create whatever you desire. The primary reason that people do not believe in their own value is because they often have not found a way to get what they want. And so they incorrectly assume that someone outside of them does not approve and is somehow withholding the reward. That is never true. You are the creator of your experience. Make statements such as, I want to be the best that I can be. I want to do and have and live in a way that is in harmony with my idea of the greatest goodness. I want to harmonize physically here in this body with that which I believe to be the best or the good way of life. If you will make those statements and do not take action unless you feel good, and you will always be moving upon the path in harmony with your idea of that which is good. What is my financial abundance story? Abraham teaches us. A belief in lack is the reason that more people are not allowing themselves the financial abundance they desire. When you believe that there is a finite pile of abundance and that there is not enough to go around, and so you feel injustice when someone else has more than others, believing that because they have it, others are deprived of having it, you are holding yourself apart from abundance. It is not another's achievement of success that is responsible for your lack of achievement, but rather it is your negative comparison and your attention to the lack of your own desire. When you feel the negative emotion that you feel as you accuse others of injustice or squandering wealth or hoarding, or when you simply believe that there is not enough to go around, you hold yourself in the position of denying your own improved condition. Excuse me 1 second here. All right. I needed to turn my fan on. These thoughts were making me hot. What anyone else has or does not have has nothing to do with you. The only thing that affects your experience is the way you utilize the non-physical energy with your thought. Your abundance or lack of it in your experience has nothing to do with what anybody else is doing or having. It has only to do with your perspective. It has only to do with your offering of thought. If you want your fortunes to shift, you have to begin telling a different story. Many people criticize those who are living well, who accumulate land and money and things, and that criticism is symptomatic of their own lackful habit of thought. They want to feel better and often believe that if they can make that which they are unable to achieve wrong, then they will feel better. But they never do feel better because their attention to lack perpetuates lack everywhere they look. They would not feel uncomfortable in seeing someone else's achievements if that desire for achievement were not present within themselves as well. And that criticism that they often keep alive within themselves only serves to hold them in vibrational discord with what they want. In other words, if someone called you on the telephone and said to you, "Hello, you don't know me, but I'm going to tell you that I will never call you again," you would not feel negative emotion about the caller's absence from your life because his or her presence was not something that you desired to begin with. But if someone you care about were to make that announcement to you, you would feel strong negative emotion because your desire and your belief would then be at odds. When you feel negative emotion about anything, it always means that you have had a desire that is born from your personal life experience that you are right now opposing with other thoughts. Vibrational discord is always the reason for negative emotion. And negative emotion is always guidance to help you redirect your thoughts to find vibrational alignment with who you really are and with your current desires. What if the poor criticize the rich? Jerry asks, when I was a kid, I associated with poor people primarily. And we used to make fun of those who were wealthy. We criticized those who drove luxury cars, for instance. And so, as an adult, when it came time that I would like to have owned a Cadillac, I couldn't bring myself to drive one because I felt that people would make fun of me as I had made fun of others. So I drove a Mercedes because years ago, people kind of thought they were economy cars. The only way I could bring myself to drive a Cadillac, which I finally did, was to bridge my thoughts by saying, well, by having this car, I put all those people to work who put this car together. I created jobs for all the people who supplied the parts and the materials, the leather, the metal, the glass, the craftsmanship, and so on. And in that justification, then I was able to buy the car. So somehow I discovered a process of bridging my thoughts that helped me allow that symbol of success come into my experience. Abraham responds, your process of bridging thoughts is an effective one. When you want to feel good and you gradually find increasingly better feeling thoughts, you are bringing yourself into alignment with your desire, and you are releasing the resistance that is preventing your improved conditions. Focusing on opposing opinions of others is never productive because it always causes discord within you, which also prevents your improved condition. There will always be others who disagree with you, and your attention to them will always cause you to vibrationally disagree with your own desires. Listen to your own guidance system by paying attention to how you are feeling in order to determine the appropriateness of your desires and behaviors. There will always be someone, no matter which side of any subject you choose, who does not harmonize with you. And that is why we speak so firmly and want so much for you to understand that your greatest endeavor is to find harmony with who you really are. If you would trust in yourself, if you could believe that through all that you have lived, you have come to a place of very strong knowing, and you can trust the way you feel as your personal form of guidance about the appropriateness or inappropriateness of what you are contemplating doing, then you would utilize your guidance system in the way that it was really intended. What if our money loses value? Jerry asks, Abraham, in the past our money was primarily coins, metal that had value in and of itself, like the $20 gold piece. The gold itself was worth $20, and the silver in the silver dollar had value. And so it seems simple to understand the value of the coin. But now our money in and of itself has no actual value. The paper and coins are essentially valueless. I've always appreciated the convenience of money as a way of exchanging goods and talents rather than trading a chicken for a container of milk or a basket of potatoes. But now our money is being artificially devalued, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to really understand the value of a dollar. In other words, it reminds me of my own searching for my own value. How much is my talent worth? And how much should I ask for in exchange for the time and energy that I put forth? But now I'm learning from you that we don't have to consider our value in that way. We have only to consider what it is that we want and then allow it in. I'm aware that many people are feeling insecure about their financial future because they feel they don't have control over what may happen to the value of the dollar. because it's typically a handful of people who seem to control or manipulate that. Many worry that there's going to be more inflation or even another depression. I'd like people to understand what you've been teaching us about the law of attraction so that they won't be concerned with things that are outside of their control, like the value of the dollar. Abraham responds, "You have hit upon something very essential here regarding the subject of money, because you are right. Many of you are recognizing that the dollars today are just not worth what they were at one time. But that is another position of lack you very often stand firmly upon that keeps you from attracting the abundance that is yours. We would like you to understand that the dollar and its assigned value is really not as important to your experience as you are believing. Then that if you could put your attention upon what you are wanting in terms of being and then having and then doing, that all of the money or other means for bringing about what you want could then flow easily and much more effortlessly into your experience." We keep coming back to the same terminology. From your place of lack, you cannot attract its opposite. And so, it really is a matter of adjusting your thinking so that your thinking harmonizes with that which feels good within you. Every thought that you think vibrates. And it is by virtue of having that vibrating thought that you attract. When you think a thought of lack, that thought is vibrating at a place that is so alien to that which your inner being knows to be your inner being, cannot resonate with you at all. And the resultant feeling within you is one of negative emotion. When you think a thought of upliftment or abundance or well-being, those thoughts do harmonize with that which your inner being knows to be. And under those conditions, you are filled with a feeling of positive emotion. You may trust the way that you feel as the indicator as to which side of this subject, that is really two subjects, you are on. Whether it is the subject of money or the lack of it, or health or the lack of it, or a relationship or the lack of one, always, when you feel good, you are in the place of attracting that which you are wanting. I think we'll stop there for today, Monica, because this is a pretty meaty section of this chapter, and I'm really excited to have our panels discussion. And I see a new and beautiful face in our panel this morning. So good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doc Fran. This is powerful. And yes, you're right. Welcome, Evelyn. I love to have you here. Beautiful. She's a great Abraham Hicks. Inspired her because she really, I remember how many times we were together, you know, listening to Abraham Hicks and all that stuff. So I know we are mastering this. And the more people we are, I think, on the planet, the more we uplift this consciousness. So thank you so much for being more and more people here. But what an important section, Dr. I'm like, you know, there is something that really hit me here in the beginning, you know, about how many times I asked for something and I didn't get it. And I think I need to remember with Catherine Ponder how much we deepening on the action of forgiveness, you know, like to do your forgiveness every day, and I'm doing it. And it's interesting to see to me, like lately I was writing down like kind of resentment, you know, for how many projects I had in life, you know, that they did not accomplish, or the idea of having, you know, this beautiful, I don't know, associate project with someone, you know, that we do teamwork here and we go and poof. So it's beautiful to realize that even though I want something very clearly, you know, I keep remaining with that low frequency of resentment or, you know, not really believing and doubting on me. So I just love that we can bring light to this aspect and to understand more, you know, why sometimes, you know, we are in this discrepancy. So, I mean, I just wanted to open the door because it hit me very strongly of keep doing what you're doing, you know, because it's true that you don't clean up in 1 second and you become more and more aware of things, you know, day by day. So, but I would love to hear you guys. And you know, the system here is you open your microphone so I can see you ready to say something about all what we had read here. I know that there is many points, you know, that we can deepen in and again, to share our personal experience that I think is the idea to integrate all of this. So who feels is ready to say something about, you know, all this money energy, and how many of us we are aware that do we come from lack? You know, I'm focusing on lack, or I'm focusing on superabundance all the time, and, you know, have the faith that that is enough, you know, that that is bringing us what we are looking for. So who is ready? Let's see. Yes, Heidi, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. I said I'm always ready. And Evelyn, at first she scared me. I thought we had twins because two of her live picture and then her other picture showed up. So I'm glad to see I'm not crazy, that there's one of you. Welcome. How fun to see a new face. Well, you know what? As he was reading, I always write down something that is read that jumps out at me, and then I'll add the secondary thought that pops up, like that epiphanous thing. And when he read about of course the feeling of lack and the feeling of neediness won't achieve success, what word kept coming up for me was desperation. How, you know, when bills pile up and you've got this feeling of desperation to pay for it, you know how nothing will circulate coming from that, because desperation was the word that kept showing up for lack and need. And it's the same with sometimes people in your life. They keep trying to get you to do something that they want to do because they see something in you. Because I know my personality, a lot of times people want me to sell every product that they do, and they come at me with this, and I can almost sense the desperation of, yeah, we need you to sell our product, not realizing I have my own vision and destiny, and it's that desperation that comes through that then pushes me away. And if it feels good, do it. I think that kept coming up, and isn't that Nike? One of the sports teams has that. If it feels good, do it. So they've been following that philosophy for already, right? And I know one of my companies is named, my main massage practice has been named Believe You're Worth It for years, because I wanted people that when they came out of their massage, as they write their check, that as they write Believe You're Worth It, I want them to subconsciously be thinking, I am. And so one of the things that always hit me strong in churches was some of the songs. And I remember growing up, and some of the songs that will say, I am not worthy, or you're not worthy. And I could never mentally comprehend why you were teaching me that. And to this day, if I'm at a church and that phrase even comes up in a song, I don't even sing that part. I can't sing that part. I'll sing everything else in the song, but when something about I am unworthy comes up, that's just not even, that doesn't work for me. And so I wrote down big and bold so that I see it every day. I am the creator of my experience. Just because I know it, sometimes I like to hang it up. Like right now, I stare at 3 fake $100 bills. Here, every time I'm on the computer, there's $100 bills hanging up here, like massive ones this big. And then I can do it and let abundance flow. So every time I'm with you guys, that's what comes up. And the last and biggest thing that I thought was really powerful was page 73, the way Jerry bridged his thoughts with his desires for the car. I loved that practice. That was pretty powerful. So thank you.
Wow, thank you, Heidi. Thank you so much. You know, and you are so right. I mean, to become aware of our own sensations to begin with, you know, and our own scarcity thoughts or whatever it is beautiful. And to really do what pleases pleases us. You know, I mean, we can never, I think, from my perspective, to extend that fulfillment that we are already fulfilled, you know, but extended if we engage with things that we don't enjoy to do, you know. So it's powerful to choose that. So thank you so much for that pull, and to master that mental discernment, or tricky, like you were saying with the car, you know, with Jerry. I love it because it's so in alignment with our creative questions, you know, and if you don't know about them, you go to creativequestions.com, because it's a very powerful tool to start to switch. For example, in this case, you know, why can I have that car? And then he found these answers, like, okay, well, maybe you support a lot of people, making their living, by working here. Why can't I have that car? Because I love to drive it. I don't know, always to find the reasons that can allow our minds to conceive it, and then from that conception, we can nurture the desire, in a fun, exciting way. This year, and thanks to you, Evelyn, I'm thinking about you a lot today because all our evenings there with Abraham Hicks. But this year, I understood deeper this word of eagerness. Like it's not like I need something, but I'm excited about that something. So to distinguish between coming from scarcity and that we all come, by the way, Heidi. To me, I see, all that churches that have that songs or that thoughts. I mean, that was the old consciousness of separation, and it's so powerful to understand that we come from that. We are the ones that we created that. So please forgive me, thank you so much. I send you back to source and to keep going with what we know today, because the beauty of today is a different frequency, we are much more conscious. So thank you so much, Heidi, beautiful. And who else has a gift here? Just your expression is the gift. So who else would like to deepen in? Yes, Candace, I can see. Oh, Celio, Candace, who is ready? Let's see. I see both of you. Let's go, Candace, your turn.
I'll go. Gosh, I feel great to be here today. I feel like I'm in action on what we're reading. I'm traveling. I'm opening the doors. I'm talking to old friends, dear friends that I haven't seen in a while, and finding out what they're doing in life, and seeing the beautiful prosperity that they're creating, and opening myself up to new ideas in the familiar circumstance of good friends. So that's been very, very wonderful. And the part about again, the story that we're telling about our own wealth and our own state of finances and so on. I wrote down I am speaking and acting in ways that astonish me with the money, goods, home. I'm looking for a new home. Services that come my way to assist me and bring me wealth. My time, money, and attention are on what I want. So that's what I'm telling myself just for now. And I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to see everybody here, and nice to have you on the call, Evelyn.
Thank you. Thank you, Candace. Beautiful, and good luck or blessings for your trip, and to really find your home, and to really, I think I love the sensation that I'm feeling right now, okay? Because in the past, I don't think I was conscious of, but the fact that you want something and to feel the joy in me right now, like, yeah, oh my gosh, I can see you in your beautiful home, I know you want to have roots and to have your trees there and whatever. I can feel the excitement, shows me, the growth that I made, because in the past I don't remember having it. I don't remember to having going against to, but not to enjoy it, the way that I'm enjoying right now. So I do see you in your beautiful new home and allowing all this easiness in our life. Thank you so much, Candace.
Thank you. And one of the nice things is frequent pauses that say, how am I feeling? Oh, not so great? Okay, I can sit for a minute. I'll sit for a minute and be with myself and get to feeling better, and then move. And then do something so that the trip is feeling good. I drove across from the airport of Los Angeles clear to the other end of it yesterday in traffic. And as I look back on it, I wasn't having a bad time. I was in traffic for hours. I was like, oh, I didn't even notice it. I was listening to my tape and I was doing, I was just having a good time. So it's not just the destination, it's the journey itself to stay happy. Okay, that's good.
Thank you, Gan. That's beautiful. Okie dokie. And I think we had Celia online here. You were ready to share something. Yes.
Evelyn, do you have your mic? Evelyn, you want to to say something? No? Okay, well, I just jump in. Can you hear me? I cannot hear. Can you hear me? Yes. I
Yes,
think
very
it's
well.
very important. What when Abraham talks about, we have this concept that in order to be successful or to have money or to make money, you have to struggle and fight and the sweating that you said, Monica, I think in all religions, because it's in the Bible, this relationship that is so ingrained in our subconscious that in order to be rich, to be wealthy, we have to suffer, we have to struggle. It's like you have to go through hell in order to be in heaven. And I think it's so ingrained in our subconscious. And I love that, with Abraham and with all these techniques and all these masters that were working so deeply, it's like saving us, it's releasing us and cleaning us of that wrong thought, because it's totally ingrained in our civilization. You have to go through so much, and in order to be rich. And I am surrounded sometimes with executives and that are younger than me and all that, but I can see that in their mindset, that you have to go through a struggle in order to be rich. And I was wealthy by birth, and and then things happen in my situation. But some people that work with me, I can see that in their subconscious, they're judging that fact. I laugh because for me it's like I can see that mindset, and I love that as Dr. Frank was reading, it's so important not to pay attention to that, because immediately as we pay attention vibrationally to that, we get into that negative mindset. So like you were saying, Candace, it's a moment to moment. It's like allowing that moment to happen, and then, okay, this person made me feel in a way that I don't want to feel in this moment, so I can retract and I can be in the feeling that I want to be, to allow, because the whole point is allowing, allowing the flow, allowing the experience, no matter how the bank account looks or seems, because, it's not, it may seem real to us, but it's not, it's much more real, the feeling of allowing. It's much more real, the feeling of not being in lack. We always thought the bank account balance is the most real thing that I can have, but it's not true. We have to get out of that, and sometimes you have to empty the bank account, empty it, so to let the clean money and the clean consciousness that is bringing you the true wealth of not lacking to come in. That's what I'm experiencing right now. It's like, and it's been for a while. It's like, just keep cool in that. Don't get into the trap of the lack. To me, it's like, and it's easy to say, but it takes a lot of practice. And I know I haven't been to a seminar with Esther Hicks or Abraham. I would love to. She even makes cruises or whatever. It's so much to do with the energy of the moment, of the room. Sometimes I have seen in videos, they're with her and with Jerry when he was alive, and this whole thing, and it's not easy to understand, because you really have to feel it. You have to feel the vibration of what is to be in that alignment that Dr. Frank was reading. In the end, you really have to be aligned with true wealth, and and not in the concept of true wealth of something much more deep. It's very, very deep. So just to be aligned with that, and then you allow, and you're not in the lack, and then the magic happens, because this is all magic. If you realize this is all magic, it's nothing to understand with a linear mind. It's like, this is crazy. How am I ever going to become rich or wealthy? And it's true. And with this fresh understanding of this mastermind, that I'm really, like Dr. Frank was saying, Monica and Arnie, that you created 18 months ago, this is so rich, this mastermind, because whoever we are, we are inside, and I know anybody can be who asks for it, because you really can have a chance to become wealthy from that point of view. Because the same book, if you don't read it in this pattern of vibration, can give you another meaning. I have read this book 2-3 years ago, and now is when I'm getting it. And I love it. It's just a matter of allowing the vibration. So
Wow. Yes, Celio, I feel so proud of you including everybody, here because we practice this. We are not just reading the book, and yes, it's wonderful, I love it or whatever. It's like to stop and, when you say it and you become aware, you are aware that other people in front of you think differently and that can vibrate and affect you, and you choose to come in and you choose to really be aware of your own choice of thinking. I mean, that's very powerful, Celio. So I just want to thank you and to really acknowledge and appreciate you for that, because it's very, very powerful, I think, to apply it, to practice. And like you said, to me, something that I learned, and I think thanks to Catherine Ponder, I'm in love to that book of Catherine Ponder, The Dynamics Laws for Prosperity, you know me enough. But, like sometimes we expect to desire something and to have it right now, and right now to me, I'm more and more, you know what, it's not about time. It's about enjoyment, like Candace was saying. It's about how much can I enjoy the process here, because it's coming, it's my learning, whatever it takes, So to be patient for that, and I love that we are humans. And yes, welcome, Evelyn. Let's see, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Everybody's voices were going in and out, so I'm not sure if mine is going to be very clear. But I'm
I can
grateful.
hear you good.
Here. Oh, good. That was so awesome. How do you pronounce your name? Chilio. It was. You're bringing the vibration up and up and up and up, and your excitement was making it so juicy here for me. I was like, okay. It's so cute. You're so cute. I'm glad to be here and being inspired by everybody that's been speaking. It's wonderful to be amongst people who are studying Abraham, and so we're all Abrahamsters, and it's fun. And let me see what inspiration I can give. I think that it's not just the reading of the book, like you were saying. It's the vibration that you're feeling when you're reading the book, and if you can take it from the book to your everyday, every moment life, it's amazing, which happens. I'm finding myself totally enjoying every moment. Even this, just came from this huge move that I did, and I made the intention that it was going to be easy and graceful, and everything will flow beautifully, and honestly, it really did. I mean, I could have gotten aggravated about a lot of different things, but I didn't. So it's really our thoughts that are creating every moment of our lives. So you can either do it with fun and grace, or you could do it, gritting your teeth. And so whether the bank account says $1 or it says $1 million, you're still going to feel the same way. I think that's the end result, or the result of all this studying that we're doing. So that's all I have to say right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you. And yes, I mean, the awareness, and like you said, to be so aware of what we are thinking. And to me, I feel like, when you were saying right now, it gets easier and easier from my experience, to think a positive thought, or to switch my mood. Let's say that I'm feeling down, to switch it. It's getting easier and easier. The more I know the process to begin with, but also the less unconscious material I have against what I'm thinking. Let's say for me today, it's 10 times easier to think, I don't know, angels' frequency and easiness and gratefulness and joyful than 5 years ago. And yes, of course, I practice, so I'm pointing again and again, the practice, the daily empowerment with each other here. We are doing great. Even if we are not yet where we would like to be in the physical realm, we are there already in our, energetical being, so let's play on that. I just love that we practice and we walk humbly and proudly, at the same time. So thank you so much, Evelyn. Beautiful. And let's see, we have a little more. Yes, Mr. Arne.
Hello. Good to hear you, everybody. Wonderful. And Doc, I caught myself red-handed here because one of the first sentences you read, Doc Fran, was, it's thought in the world as being honorable to struggle and work hard. And I love this book so much, so immediately I went to, and I realized that I was applauding the struggle and the hard working. And I'm a hard-working person, but I enjoy every moment of it. Um, but I found I realized that I'm still in that belief system of that it's good to work hard. So and I know that when I think about being on my boat and not doing much, it's a little bit guilty feeling coming in with that. So that's something I have to work on. And what was talked about here is we need to find like Heidi was saying in the church, where you say you're not valuable and all that. Well, for me it goes even to for me it goes to another step. It's not I am valuable. I feel like I'm valuable, but I feel guilty for feeling valuable. So my blockage goes to I have to hold myself back because I feel like I am so successful and so powerful and so enjoying every moment of my life. Everything is good. I feel very valuable, but then I feel guilty, so then I hold back. So my part is to work on the guilt and feeling the innocence of who I truly am. Because as I was realizing yesterday, we are not here to get things. We are here to become things. It's like in the Bible they say, I am that I am that I am. So they cut Evelyn's mic here.
Sorry.
I cut a mic. So the it's for me to become the feeling, to become the whatever it is that I want to become, not to get it as an object, but I become that. That's the moment it will be a part of my life. Also want to say about the money situation, that value of dollars, but in our case, you can have things doesn't have to come through money. For example, now we're driving a really nice car, and that's a favor to someone else, and we didn't pay for that. There's no money exchange. So there are other ways for things to come into our life, and that's what I have today.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, innocent Arne. You know, I think to really claim your innocence is such an open door, you know, for your being, because you are really touching that place that when we find what hold that back, you know. I mean, to me, with thanks to Catherine Porter, again, I think I really practice that book. You know, every day I sit down. Well, maybe not every day, but I mean, for sure every day is intention, so I can skip 1 or 2 per week, but I mean, it's a habit that I have now. And I sit down and I question, you know, there is anything holding me back, you know, to this financial freedom that I'm desiring, you know. So sometimes it's you don't have the right to desire that, and other times it's, you know, whatever memory comes. So I love that when we notice, you know, how much I like to work with shadows, you know, and at the end it's what is holding us back. You know, so it's interesting to see that we are more and more aware of that side. And to share a little something personal, I think we have some minutes here. I just want to share, and the intention of my sharing is to inspire all of us, and myself to begin with, that we are doing it quicker and quicker and easier, and it's okay to feel down, you know, like yesterday I was looking, we were talking about money, and I was very, very extremely disappointed. You know, like we were talking this and that, and like, really, oh my gosh. So I start to feel like pissed off and angry and upset, you know, like things doesn't come my way, or, you know, it's not yet here, or this impatience or whatever that I was talking in the beginning. And it's interesting, you know, because I got quiet, like Candace was telling us here, you know, I got very quiet and said, oh, okay, here we are. So what's going on, really? And I went the journey inwards, you know, and really noticing that at the end, I mean, that took me I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, 20 minutes of being with myself. And, I was in the world too. We were driving somewhere or whatever, but I was, connected with myself, really sensing what was going on there. And I ended up, like realizing, first I switch when I come to, okay, I love you anyway, Monica. I do love you anyway. And we are here together bringing light to whatever is needed. So that really relaxes me, okay? And then I came down, to the point of, how easy I blame someone else, for the situation. So I immediately, embraced that and let it go. And then I went deeper and I touched, the place of unsafety for not trusting what I'm doing, not trusting the other person, not trusting what, oh my gosh. And when I found that core, maybe that was the journey at that moment, I don't know, because suddenly proof, something felt so good. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I know, that my mental conditioning is let's say, crystallized or conditioned, in not trusting. So now it's my job, to bring light to that and to start to be like, why can't I trust? And I had my rational mind saying, well, maybe now you are now you are wanting to trust something that is not trustworthy or that you cannot trust. So amazing how the mind keeps, like running the show of the core beliefs that we have unconsciously, and I could be aware of that. So I just want to honor and to share that, to see we can all feel inspired for, because as soon as I catch that, what was really going on inside, I feel much better, much more space, much more opening, so I can switch my thoughts and I can see the, the benefit and the vision that I had in the first place and keep going in my journey, okay? So when we see this design that says, when you want to go from here to there, it's not a straight line, okay? You go like, like this or whatever. Well, we can enjoy the journey. So thank you. Celia, I see you open and I do love to hear you.
I wanted to add, Monica, because you mentioned before, and it connects dots to me, and it's very powerful what you mentioned, connecting Catherine Ponder, that we did in this group, the book before, and Monica and I were doing the group now, still is finishing the book with a Spanish and Latin American group. And it's very powerful because I did connect the dots, you too, Monica, with the chapter we're doing last Tuesday, which was about debt, and this, about the Abraham energy. And it's so powerful because then you understand, when according to Catherine Ponder, and the essence of debt is a lack of flow, is a lack of allowing, it's of course not forgiving, but also allowing to, when you owe to somebody or when somebody owes to you. And then I apply this energy to that, to those affirmations, and it's extremely powerful. It really goes to the bottom, to the not the surface, the other side, to the bottom of that ocean of guilt, of not forgiving, of allowing, and then it's like so powerful. So I really recommend, to connect the dots of Catherine Ponder's energy and this energy, because it's extremely powerful. I'm doing it right now, and I love it. I just wanted, to say that.
Thank you, Celio. Thank you very much. Yes.
It's really funny. In Swedish, the word guilt and debt is the same word, so that has a big impact on all the Swedes.
Wow. Thank you, Arne. Well, I'm here with you, for you, and I love you, so we can really go through this. Okay, so we are very close to the end of our time here together, but there is 5 more minutes. Doc Fran, I'm sure you... Oh, Evelyn, yes, please, go for it.
I want to say that a lot of what Abraham says is when we're on a topic that brings us down, brings kind of like guilt. If you think too much about, oh, I'm so guilty for this, I'm so guilty for that, blah, 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 you may want to take your mind off of the topic and just look at trees and bunny rabbits, because if you keep focusing on, I'm too guilty, I'm not valuable, I'm not this, I'm not that, you're going to keep going in that direction. So I just wanted to point that out, because you're not, there's nothing for you to ever feel guilty about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, Doc Fran, I see your microphone open, so I'm waiting for your gifts too. Let's see.
Good. Good
Right?
morning.
Yes.
Wow, what a wonderful mastermind. And again, I have so many things that I have been reflecting on listening to everyone speak this morning. So I'm going to try and keep my thoughts very concise and timely. Everything we're reading in this book, everything that we're being taught in this book is about learning how to feel good all the time. And what I was reflecting on as I listened to people this morning give their talks was how powerful feeling good is, even when you don't understand how powerful it is. And what do I mean by that? Well, I went into full-time private practice in 1977. We had 2 infant kids, a mountain of debt, and in my first year, I was the only specialist in my state, and I was in pure enthusiasm, pure joy, and we really did well, right in the face of everyone telling me that I was crazy to open up as a specialist, that there wasn't any need for one, I should just get in the boat with everybody else and be a general dentist and slug my way up for 20 years. And I was too stupid to, to go into agreement with that, in their opinion. So in that first year, I bought 2 boats. First time I ever bought a boat in my life. I had built 2 boats, but now I've actually bought a real honest-to-God store-bought boat. I went into a dealership and bought it, and bought that one in May, and a little sailboat, and then in August we traded that boat in and bought a real boat, 26-foot inboard diesel. And we're really feeling good. Everything's smoking. It's going along like a freight train. My accountant said, "Hey, you're really setting some records here. You're doing great. You can afford it. Go for it." Well, my mother comes to dinner. And in all excitement, I said to Mom, "Mom, we bought a new boat today." And her head whipped up, and she looked at me, and she said, "Oh, Franny." She says, "I know a lot of doctors. I know a lot of successful doctors, but I don't know any doctor that ever bought 2 boats in their first year of practice. You must be charging your patients too much money." That crashed my productivity because I immediately went from joy and enthusiasm and abundance feeling to being guilty for being successful. How asinine. But that's the power of our internal thought process, particularly when the buttons are pushed by individuals who certainly know how to impress their distorted views of life on us, like our parents. So it took me a while to build back into abundant affluence again in the practice. And then I started noticing several things, and I've mentioned it a couple times on the talks here, that the only time I have ever inhibited the income in my life is when, for whatever reason, I went into agreement with inhibiting my outflow, my spending. And there is a dictum that I learned studying Scientology that inflow equals outflow, and it's very true. And the whole key word here, and Celio mentioned it in his talk, is the flow. And when things are flowing, man, things are flowing. And it's just like watching a stream. A stream could be flowing just as nice as it wants to be. It might only be 6 inches wide, but you drop a 5-inch rock in that, and it certainly creates resistance to the smooth flow of that stream. Well, it really is so true. That's exactly what negative emotion, negative thinking does, is it simply puts huge thought blocks and rocks and boulders in the stream of flow in our lives. And there is unlimited abundance in the universe, and it is all ours to have. It's just our willingness to realize and allow ourselves that keeps us from having it. Now, it was interesting to read today. Esther Hicks started the Abraham channeling in around 1998 or 99, late 90s. So that's about 20, almost 30 years ago now. So when he talks about the value of the dollar and being worried about, oh, the value of the dollar, inflation is going to go up, interest is going to go up, whatever, you know, that hasn't changed in all of recorded history. Would you agree? That money always has been there once we got off of bartering bread for butter and twigs for you know, a ham steak or something, who knows what. But the value of that money has always fluctuated based on, gee, isn't this amazing, based on group think, group thought, group agreement. But the bottom line is that money has always been the medium of exchange. And doesn't it make sense that if it takes $1 million in 10 years to buy a loaf of bread, won't it be nice if you have, you know, $500 million laying around someplace that you can get your hands on, so at least you know you're going to be able to buy a loaf of bread for the next 5 or 6 years. So don't worry about what is the perceived value of money in this, you know, instant. It is understanding that abundance is abundance in everything. And when you realize that we are living in constant abundance and that the flow of that abundance is strictly in our own thought control, that's when the magic happens. So back to you guys. Oh, no, I do have an even better story. One last thought. Nancy has been an integral part of my success in my life, our success, from day one. She's, you know, we've worked literally together every step of the way through the practice. And it was very interesting. She would not pay herself a salary. She would not, she simply worked, and had a lot of rational justifications for it. There's no reason to pay double employer's tax and employees, so we were saving money on taxes, etc. But intrinsically, what she was constantly reinforcing in herself was the idea that my efforts aren't worth anything, so I can't pay myself for my efforts. And it's so fun now, since I, you know, made the decision to retire and simply literally stop trying to create income. Nancy has assumed the role of creating the income. And she started trading these ES minis about, well, a year ago we got onto the idea, and she's been studying it religiously for 8 or 9 months. And it was very fascinating to watch. I mean, she you know, she was teaching. She was working as a substitute teacher here in Florida. And you would work 7-8 hours a day, 160 kids, and earn $75 as a professional college graduate. It's absolutely a sin how they devalue professional teachers in the state of Florida. But people, you know, that's the scale, and you work. So she was always happy to have, you know, a little car, a Volkswagen or a Volvo or something. And I always liked Mercedes. I mean, she liked riding in the Mercedes, she liked driving the Mercedes, but her personal car was something not a Mercedes. And even though, as Celio pointed out to us, or as Jerry pointed out to us, Mercedes were considered an economy car. Yeah, I found that sentence very, very comical as I read it. But you know, I wouldn't personally drive a Cadillac, but I can understand a lot of people see that as a symbol of success for themselves. So it was very fascinating to watch the last few months as Nancy has honed her skills. And she was going through a seesaw, as she would have days of success in her trading, that little mindset of not being worthy would crop up where she would have a lost trade that would wipe out the bulk of all the gains she had made in all of the positive trades. Now, in the last few weeks, a couple new things have come in, and I've noticed about 11, 12 weeks ago, she decided it was ready to sell the car, and she started looking for another car. And she started looking at Volvos and Hondas and at all the different little mid-size SUVs. And finally, she started looking at these Mercedes mid-size SUVs. And she ultimately honed it down to when she realized that dollar for dollar you could find a Mercedes that was the same price as the other cars or less. She started to focus more and more exclusively. Now, concomitant with that, her trading started to work to the point where suddenly she was really trading successfully day in and day out. And her trading account was going up. And her enthusiasm, isn't this interesting, that every day she'd get more excited? Well, the bottom line is now she came, what was it, about a week and a half ago, and she said, all right, I'm ready to buy a new car. She had 11 little Mercedes GLKs that we were going to go look at, and she wanted to spend out of pocket around $25,000. She figured that we would get a nice car for that kind of money with our trade-in. And so we went car shopping and found that Mercedes, and ended up, we found one we liked, and we walked away and said to the dealer, we're going to look, we have 3 more cars we want to look at. And they first gave us a trade-in that was low, and I said no. I said, well, we've done our homework, and I said, your trade-in's inadequate. So he walked out of the room, he came back in 5 minutes, he said, all right, we'll bring it up $1,000, which brought it to what, a fair value for trade-in was. And I said, okay, I'm interested in this car. I think the trade's fair, but we're going to look at these other cars, and I'll call you if I buy another one or if I'm coming back here. So while we're at the other dealership, the phone rings, and it's the dealer from that guy, and he says, well, I'm just calling to tell you that my manager really wants to sell you this car, so we just authorized another $500 on the trade-in of your Volvo, which is basically the maximum I could sell the car for if I sold it in a private sale. I said, all right. I said, that sounds really good. I'll let you know. The guy's working the deal here. But, long and the short of it is we bought that car. And we both loved it. We loved that car when we first drove it, but we went through. Now, come full cycle. So we're driving. Nancy loves this car. She feels great when she rides in it. She feels great when she drives it. Her trading is going like gangbusters. And what do you think she feels? Do you think she's feeling pretty good and pretty abundant? And it's being so manifested every day. She's now, I think she came just about $300 in earnings in her 2-hour trading session the other day. Now contrast that to how you feel after working 8 hours with 160 kids for $75 less tax, to where you can work 2 hours feeling great, feeling abundant, feeling successful, feeling worthwhile, feeling joy, and you're making 2 to 3 times that much every day, just day in, day out, day in, day out. So, does it work, folks? It really works. Just quit fighting it. Trust in yourself. Relax. Feel good. If you're feeling bad, think of something that makes you feel good until you're just feeling good all the time. And the rest is going to fall into place. Back to you.
Thank you, Doc Fran. That's beautiful. And again, to me, I totally congratulations to begin with, and to really understand that the embodiment of joy and abundance and feeling good is enough. I think I trust that the universe. Sometimes I say, I'm working here, I'm working there. Well, at the end, if I have to do something else, the universe will make it very clear, because my intention here is to embody this financial freedom that I am, like so in love to and so passionate about it. So, the universe will open the path on this. So I'm very happy to see that it's possible. And it's really, of course, how easy it is to feel really good. The other day I had a friend also pretty much the same kind of story, that suddenly she could not even pay her rent in the past, let's say. And then suddenly she got $4,000, whatever, that is coming from something that she decided to do with a friend, whatever it is the story. But the joy that she was expressing to me, Monica, it's like, and you can do this too, because it feels so good, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got it. I got, when contagiada, how you say, affected. I don't know. I got affected by her high vibration, emotional excitement and emotional gratitude. And I said, let me feel it, And every time that I want to feel that joy, that, suddenly I have, $10,000 in my bank. That makes me happy. Oh my gosh, I can feel it. I can remember that connection with her. And you remind me, Doc Fran, pretty much with the same excitement, like it's possible, yes. So, with this, I just want to thank you, everyone, for being here, for the amazing gift that you are to this prosperity consciousness that we are all committed to and are growing into it. And today we are going to close the time that we are here together. But I want you to know, the ones that you are seeing this in the other side, or that you are seeing the recording, please remember that you can get the link to be on the panel and to dance with us here. Writing an email to Arne, A-R-N-E, at unlimitednetwork.com. Arne at unlimitednetwork.com. And then you can receive the special link that is needed to be here. So, with this said, next Saturday, that's going to be the October 17, and we will start on page 76, just for you to write down and remember where we stopped today. We will continue with our growth. And meanwhile, have a wonderful, wonderful week, guys. I love you all. And just have a abundant week, let's say. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you.